Hey there, awesome accounting student. Mark Franke here. This is a video for Counting 100, Chapter 8. And this is a problem where we're going to look at both sides of the transaction. So in this case, we have a buyer, Brown Company, and a seller, Stone Company. So the seller is stuff from Chapter 7, and the Brown Company, the buyer, is from Chapter 8. So we're going to look at both sides of these. So we have two general ledgers. We have the general ledger for the buyer and the general ledger for the seller. And these transactions we're going to record both sides of them. Now, we start off with a balance in accounts payable. On the buyer's side, they owe $7,000, and we have, of course, the corresponding receivable on the seller's side. They're expecting to receive $7,000, and so the first transaction says they issued a check of $68.60, which paid the $7,000 invoice less a discount of $140. So Brown Company recorded a check they sent, $68.60. This is transaction A. It's a debit to accounts payable for $7,000. It's a credit to cash for $68.60. And it's a credit to purchase discounts of $140. Purchase discounts, of course, is a negative expense account. We took a discount. Over on the seller's side, we received the check for $68.60 debit cash. We also record the sales discount, which is a debit, which is a negative sales account. And then we wipe out the receivable as a credit for $7,000. You can see these are just kind of mirrored images of each other, looking at it from the buyer and the seller standpoint. Transaction B said that they bought some more merchandise from Stone, $6,800. We're going to debit purchases over on Brown's books for $6,800. This is transaction B. And we're going to credit accounts payable, $6,800, transaction B. And then over on Stone's books, they had a sale of $6,800, and it was on account. So we're going to debit accounts receivable and credit sales on Stone's books. This is transaction B. Then transaction C says there was a return of $300. So Brown got the merchandise in, said, you know what, $300 of this is defective or non-conforming or some sort of a problem. So what we're going to do here is we're going to debit accounts payable for $300. They're reducing the bill. This is transaction C. And they're going to record a purchase return of $300. Over on Stone Corporation's books, we have a debit to sales returns for $300 and a credit to accounts receivable for $300. So they're reducing the receivable. Brown is reducing the payable. Transaction D says paid the amount due. So we're going to pay for that transaction less the return. So we're going to prepare a schedule. The invoice amount was $6,800 less the return, which was $300. So the amount due is $6,500. I'll go ahead and draw a line. That's the amount due, but they took a discount based on the terms. It's a 2% discount. So that discount is $130 or 2% of $6,500. We'll go ahead and draw a line, and the amount paid is the $6,500 minus the $130 or $63.70. And I'll just go ahead and copy this. Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and change it to be amount received and now we can record the transaction. We wrote a check over on Brown's books, $63.70. That is the amount we're paying. We have to wipe out the payable at $6,500, and we have a credit to purchase discounts for $130. Over on Stone's books, they got the check, $63.70. They are recording a sales discount of $130, and they're going to wipe out the receivable at $6,500. That's the transaction on both sides. And then the last transaction is another purchase for $7,400. We're just going to debit purchases $7,400. This is transaction E. And credit accounts payable for $7,400. That will be the ending balance. And then over on Stone's books, they're going to debit accounts receivable $7,400 and credit sales $7,400. This is a really good problem to practice both Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 at the same time. We've got the Brown Company is Chapter 8, the purchasing stuff. Stone Company is Chapter 7, the sales stuff. But this is the same transaction, but looking at it from two different sides, one from the buyer and one from the seller side. Really good to practice this. That's it for this video. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.